Hello, I wanted to talk to you this morning about flipping, to give you an idea of what to expect for this year. To help you understand, what flipping means is instead of the normal class where I present material between 20 to 40 minutes and then you get a small amount of time to do homework or practice, what we're going to do instead is I'm going to put all my instructional videos online. What you'll do is you'll be able to watch all the instructional videos the night before. You'll be able to rewind, look at them again. There'll be practice problems for you. Everything you need to fully prepare yourself for the next day. When you come in class the next day, instead of me having to give you that presentation, since you've already seen it, we'll go right into the learning. Sometimes you'll work individually, many times you'll work in different groups, as a way to consolidate and practice what you've learned. What you'll find is this system is great because it gives you a chance to review the materials. If you have questions, you're going to come into class knowing the questions you want to ask. You'll be able to work with other people on these problems far more than in a traditional setting. There's many advantages. What I have in front of you here is I have a quick presentation to help you more about flipping. So flipping a class means that students get information at night. They can review the material at their own pace. Then the next day at school they do the homework in class either by themselves or in a group. Now why are we flipping? Well, I'm going to give you a very brief history in education. In the beginning of time, parents were the sole teachers of their children. So most children took the occupation of their parents. Good for passing on parent knowledge, but not much opportunity beyond that. Now later, as civilization advanced, wealthy people could hire private tutors for their children. So not only did you get the benefit of a parent being able to teach you, but they also could hire specialists to teach you in certain areas. Later, the first schools were created. Now these would be a few students learning from a master. These schools or academies would teach children of ability who could afford to pay. Therefore, only the privileged children could go. Therefore, there was little chance for the poor to have a better life. Flash forward a millennium or so, public schools formed, and all children can go. While this is good, the teacher-student ratio has changed. Before, you had one parent to one student, or maybe two parents to one student. That's good. Or here, you'd have one tutor to possibly one student. In a small school setting, maybe one teacher or one instructor to 10 students. Now in our public school setting, class sizes vary, but normally it can be 1 to 30, one teacher to 30 students, maybe 1 to 25. This is a very effective form to educate 25 or 30 people at a time, called mass instruction. You have one presenter, usually a teacher, and 25 or 30 students. Once it gets past 30, it's very difficult to continue that message, at least at most public school levels. You'll find in college you might have one instructor to 500 students, but that's in a giant hall that they have at the college level. And obviously questions are very few. It's mostly just somebody giving instruction and not answering many questions. Now, teaching more students at once is economical, but there are drawbacks. The more students in a class, the less time can be given to each individual student. Now compare. Take an hour of instruction with a tutor, one student. Student gets one-on-one time for the entire period. But if you take one teacher and 30 students, the best case scenario would be 2 minutes per student. Now more likely you'd have to have 30 minutes of mass instruction, and if you were to be fair with everyone, you'd have 1 minute per student remain. And I think we can agree that there will be some students with their hand raised more than others, some students who probably don't want to venture to raise their hand, and even if they might need help, they might just sit quietly and not get help. So this isn't always the desired method for one-on-one. And why do I mention one-on-one? Because research says that one-on-one instruction or one-on-one help is very vital to many students' learning. Now there are some students, however, who can succeed in a 30-to-1 mass instruction environment. Look, some folks are just going to get the A. They're the A people, and that's just how it goes. There are the students who are going to excel regardless of the class format. So I could have almost any format, and they're going to get an A in it because that's who they are. But for those who have questions or do not understand, they have problems. So it doesn't always work for everyone as equally. Under our current 30-to-1 math instruction system, there are many students who may not understand the lesson fully by the time class is over, or forget much of it by the time they do homework at night. Unfortunately, many students fall behind in this system. Once you fall behind or do not understand a lesson, it is much harder to catch up and understand down the line. Simply put, and I think everyone's been through it, you go into a class, you're listening, maybe doing some things. For whatever reason, it doesn't quite click. You don't quite understand how the teacher did that. And you're going to raise your hand, but maybe you got distracted, maybe something else was going on, maybe something couldn't hold your attention, or you just got bored. Next thing you know, class is over. So you take your books home, you hope to catch up, you hope to look through the books, but you find looking through the books don't seem to help you very much. And that homework's just sitting there, and you don't know how to do it. And if you're not able to get help from a friend or anything else, there you are. That's the first lesson you don't understand. And if you're in a class, much like math, where one lesson's on another lesson on another lesson, the minute you don't know how to do one lesson, the rest are more difficult. Almost impossible. And that's all it takes. So you see, for the A student, that's never the problem, because the A student just gets it all right all the time. But for other students who have these problems, you start running into this difficulty. And much like this ball chasing after Indiana Jones, it just gets larger and faster because it's more and more difficult, and you get farther and farther behind. Now, instead of that, what if the student had the chance to preview everything that they were going to learn the night before and have questions ready for the answer to be answered the next day in class? What if instead of having the teacher give a 30-minute lecture, that time could be spent having the teacher work with individual students or placing students in learning groups and visiting each group to help them out? So again, you watch the night before, you work the group in lessons, and you get help when you need it, right there. Not only does it give each student more time in group and getting one-on-one time, so you have more time, it's teamwork, you get one-on-one coaching, but you get a lot more done in class. I'll tell you this, under this format, I can usually teach 2 lessons with the time it used to take me to teach 1, because I don't have to take that valuable class time for a 20 to 40 minute presentation. That's been done the night before. So I can say do sections 2.1 and 2.2, 2.3 maybe, look at all 3 of those, get ready for them, and the next morning we'll start class with chapter 2, section 1, and we might get most of the work done in class in 20 minutes. So we can go right to 2.2. I've gotten more done last year using flip format than I ever have before, because it simply speeds things up, it makes things clearer, it's a real winner. It's also very helpful when a student is absent. Now, usually people are absent because they're sick. Well, that's unfortunate, of course, but if they're sick, they're normally at home, other than the time they have to go to the doctor's. Well, if you're at home and you have a computer, it's great. You can watch the lessons from the comfort of your home while you get better. Now, if you can't do that, that's fine. The school and the principal has been very generous about opening up the library, the LRC, so students can watch the videos first thing in the morning or after school. So if you don't have capabilities at home, there are other resources as well. If you didn't understand the lesson, you can watch it again. So imagine you're watching the lesson and say, I didn't quite get that. Fine, replay it. If there's one section you didn't get, go rewind it. See what it was. Now there is one commitment from you. You do need to watch the videos, point blank. I personally make all these lessons I will assign. Therefore, you will know the video was made by me and it matches precisely with the work that we're going to be doing. But if you start missing video lessons, you will not understand the lesson the next day. Now, I know some natural objections. I know that I had a parent last year comment, well, don't we have you to teach the lessons? Well, sure, I teach the lessons, but the reason why I teach them online is to save that vital 20 to 30 minutes so we can do that time doing the work in class where I'm there. Personally, I enjoy giving presentations. I enjoy, teaching. I enjoy the back and forth. But having me on stage just talking is fine, but that means while I'm talking, they're not doing. So it's much better for me to have the talk at their convenience, and the minute they come into class, have them start doing, because you learn by doing things. so that's a good thing. I know some students also start to get a little slack. They got stuff going on, they have obligations. I get that. A lot of students have sports. They have other classes, of course, to do. Some have church obligations. There are lots of things to occupy your time. I completely get that. And I can understand when you look and say, oh my goodness, it's a 45-minute video tonight or a 25-minute video. Hey, I get it. But it needs to be done. You get home whenever you get home and you go to bed whenever you go to bed. This has to be part of the time you budget. And well, here's what I'll do for you. I have all the videos online. So you don't have to just watch 2-1 or 2-2. If you have a tournament coming up and you're going to be gone most of the week in the evenings, fine. Take the weekend before and watch 6 of the videos. Get ahead, go ahead and get ahead. I'm going to have all the videos online for you from the minute you walk into class. So you can watch 1-1 all the way to the end of the book. And they'll be all there for you. So there's no reason why you can't stay ahead or whatever you need. I personally understand if, one night you missed because something happened, I get it. That's understandable. Just like if you were to forget your homework one night. One night that happens. But to be a success in this class, you must watch the videos. You must. That is the one thing you need to do. After that, you do the rest of the work in class, and it's easy. I've found that the ones who miss the videos are typically the ones who have trouble in class, and that's no surprise. These things happen. So please watch the videos. First, the lesson the videos have been painstakingly made for you to view by me. And yes, it's not surprising the ones who miss the videos are the ones who start falling behind in class. So please watch the videos. Please remember that selection in this class does not guarantee you remaining here for the year. If you fall behind and cannot catch up to ensure your overall performance, you may be moved to general math. Simply put, here's what it means. You've been selected for AT. You've accepted. Thanks. And I mean that. But if for some reason you start falling behind, I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to go back and say, hey, what's going on? And I'll try to, rescue you a couple times. How can we help you? How can we fix this? But if you still have trouble, then I got to, talk to folks and say, hey, your student's having trouble here. Your kid's floundering. Can we help them? Can we fix them? What do they need? And we'll try that for a few times. But eventually, if you're still having trouble and like, look, this just ain't a right fit. You did your best, but it's not for everybody. And we'll have to put you in general math again, which, by the way, is nothing wrong with that. You'll probably get a nice easy A in general math if you go from AT. Almost every year I have to ask a few people, say, listen, we're going to put you back in general math. And it's not a stigma, it's just where you need to be right now. You gave it your best shot, and that's fine. A lot of times, though, when I have to do that with a student is because they've made the decision that they don't want to continue in AT. It's not that they couldn't. It's that the workload, or they just decided, it's just a lot of work, and I'm kind of tired, or I got other things to do, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. I only take up to 25, 30 people a year. Of that, usually about 22 or 24 make it out, and they finish, and that's all right. So anyway, know that. But it's all up to you, and all you have to do is watch the videos. If you watch the videos, you will be prepared to succeed. So know that. It's simple. This is the equation. You watch the video, you listen to it, and you're basically going to learn it. Do the practice problems and quizzes sometimes. I will have quizzes on some sections, and I'll let you know ahead of time. They'll be pretty straightforward, and it'll give me an idea of what you've learned. Master it the next day in class. That's all. Good luck, and let's have a great year. Thank you.